Hi, everybody, and welcome to this edition of the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3. And Sam and I are happy to welcome the assistant wrestling coach at CHS, Justin Leising. Justin, happy to have you here with us this evening.
Thanks for having me.
Your season's just getting underway, isn't it?
Yep. We've had 2 meets so far, and the kids are doing pretty good so far.
And what about this week? You got something lined up?
We go to Milan this week.
Okay.
We take on the Indians down there in a dual meet, so it'll just be us and them
All right.
on Wednesday night.
When did all the preliminary practice begin? And
Really, practice began about 2 weeks after school let out. We started open mats 1 night a week, and then I was in the weight room 3 days a week in the mornings, and we had 4 or 5 kids come in off and on all summer long.
Okay.
Wasn't quite the turnout we had hoped, but it was second year is our first off season, so I think we had a decent turnout for that.
Okay, and Mac Taylor is head coach?
Yeah, he's still the head coach. He's actually got some stuff going on tonight that he couldn't be here, so I drew the short straw.
Sam, wrestling, they've got this big classic coming up during the holidays.
Yeah, they sure do, and brings in people from all corners of the state. It's really a good thing for CHS and for the city of Connersville. How involved are you in that?
We're as involved as Brent Duncan lets us be. I mean, he comes to us and says, this team wants to come in, what do you think on it? And me and Mac both are, the more competition we can get in for the kids, the better off we are, and the better the competition. The only downfall to it is a lot of I'm not taking anything away from the teams that come, but a lot of the top 10 teams in the state are at Team State that week. So we lose some of the really just top to bottom fantastic teams to Team State, and we can't blame them for that. So, but as far as the ones that come, it's great competition. It's a great time to be there. To me, there's nothing like it wrestling inside that facility. I mean, it's a great thing to come to.
And the teams that come from all over the state, evidently they like it pretty well because a lot of them keep coming back. How many teams come for that?
32, counting us. So there'll be 30. Yeah, that's a lot of teams, a lot of kids. You figure 13 kids per team. Do the math. That's a lot of that's a lot of kids wrestling in 2 days. Oh, and it's a pretty big thing to win it.
Who are some of the teams that come, Justin?
East Noble's going to be there this year. Normally I have these things right there, and I'm losing them right now.
Indianapolis.
But East Noble will be there, Roncalli will be there, Cathedral will be there, Franklin County's there, and they always show real well. Union County will be there, Richmond, Cambridge City, Lincoln.
Have any from down around Evansville, or? I think we have in the past.
We have in the past. I don't think we have any coming up this year. Shenandoah will be there again this year, and they're a tough team. I think Lawrenceburg. No, I'm misspeaking. I believe East Central got in on it this year, so they'll be there this year, and they're a tough conference team for us to.
Yeah, they're.
Top to bottom, they're a tough team. So, like I said, the competition's out of this world in there, and it's a great experience for the kids and for us coaches too.
Sam, when we had Brent Duncan on, didn't he say he had some schools wanted to come but didn't have room for them?
I believe he did,
I think he said they had a list.
Which is probably a good problem to have.
Absolutely.
And it is. I mean, you look at Newcastle's tournament that they have at the beginning of the year, when you go back 10 years, and that was 15, 20 schools, and it was a 2-day event also. And this year here, there were 6 of us.
Wow.
So, to have a tournament that's still going that strong after, what is it? This is the 22nd year for it, I believe. 22nd or 23rd.
Yeah.
And, to have a tournament that's not only still going, but you still have people on a waiting list to come to it, that's saying a lot about it.
It sure is.
Says something about the quality of the tournament, not only the teams, but how it's managed and how it's put on. That Brent does a great job as AD, and Pam before him, and along with you and the rest of the coaching staff that have some input into what's going on.
Yeah, it says a lot about Brent, and Pam done a knockout job with it for years, and Brent's just took that and ran with it. Now, me and Mac, and we also have 2 new coaches this year, volunteer coaches, Will O'Farrow and Dylan Shirky, have both been helping us out in their 2013, 2014 graduates.
Yes.
You know, they're helping us out. But when it comes to the Classic, you know, Brent takes care of that. His staff takes care of it, and the 4 of us worry about coaching kids and getting them ready to compete.
You wrestled when you were in high school?
Yeah, I wrestled. I graduated '04.
Okay. What event? What weight?
I wrestled
class?
175.
Okay.
Then now it's 170.
How'd you guys do when you were in school?
Oh, we done all right. We didn't have the talent pool that we had from then till now. We had some real good talent. You know, Rudy Snyder back then was on top of his game. Andy Grubbs was on top of his. Tyler Galt was doing really well. So we had some talent, but just top to bottom, we didn't have the teams that we had, you know, that Mike Bottomley had, and then that me and Mac have now.
Yes.
So.
What's it take to be a good wrestler?
Oh, drive. But that's to me, that's with any sport, anything you ever do. If you don't have drive to get out there and do it, you're not going to succeed. You know, natural talent's great, but I've seen natural talent get beat by a kid who worked all summer long. And, you know, we have kids in our wrestling room right now that are just phenomenal athletes, phenomenal talent, and, you know, they don't put in the work as hard as somebody else, and they get beat. And we stress that to them, and until they figure that out, you know, they're going to do the best that they can. And we honestly think they can do better.
In the weight classes, tell us a little bit about them. Where do they start and where do they end?
Oh, we 106, 113, 120, 126, 132, 138, 145, 152, 160, 170, 182, 195, 220, and 285, which is heavyweight.
You know that pretty well.
We kind of got to. And you know, like I said, at the beginning of the season, we gave up 106, 113, 120, we had a 113. Gave up 120, 126, 132, and 285. And since we've gotten a 120-pounder, we have one kid that's working to get the 132 from 138, and we have a 285-pounder now. So we're starting to fill the holes that we had at the beginning of the season. And top to bottom, I mean, it's a good group of kids. They work real hard, and they're coming along. We're young, and we have so many first-year wrestlers.
Do you? The middle school has a wrestling program. They don't begin until after the first of the year.
Yeah. And Steve DeGroat's doing a great job with the program down there. Him and Mac have talked, and he's doing what he does and has been doing and has been successful with for years. But now he's adding some of the stuff that Mac wants him to do. So they're doing really well down there. The only problem is we had 3 kids come up that were 8th graders last year. That team was full of 7th graders. So next year we should see a big influx of wrestlers coming up. We just didn't see it this year.
You have any football players?
Yeah, Dylan Rohn and Brady Gosnell. I shouldn't even just name kids because, you know, 2/3 of our wrestling team are football players. Out of that 1/3 that's left, half of them are soccer players. So we have some kids come up that were fall sports athletes that done real well in those sports and are doing real well for us.
You talk about the weight classes, and they seem pretty close. I mean, weight-wise between classes. Do the kids have to adjust their diets to stay within, to either eat more or eat less to stay within a certain class? How's that work?
If anything, we want them to not so much eat less, but eat healthier. You know, work out a little harder, eat a little healthier, cut back on sweets. You know, a normal diet.
Sure.
the thing is they can only lose so much weight over a certain period of time. So it takes some of these kids a little bit longer to get to their target weight because we want them to wrestle the lowest possible weight that they weighed at the beginning of the season. So if a kid comes in weighing 145 pounds and the body mass scale says they can wrestle 132, well, we want them to get to 132 to wrestle at that because that's where they're going to be the most competitive for their body type.
Let's see.
So, and it takes
some
some
science involved in this.
There's a little bit to it, and there's a little bit of mad science involved in it sometimes too, I think. But like Brady Gosnell, he came in at 155 and he's wrestling 145, and we would like to see him at 138. So, that's just kind of the progression to get him down to where we think he should be wrestling and where he's going to be the most competitive. Because that's what we're there to do as coaches, is to try to set these kids up to be in the most competitive weight class for their body type and size. Yeah, we have our 220-pounder Dylan Roan. He's working on getting to 195 because we think he's going to be the most successful there. He's good. He went 5-0 this weekend, and he's 8-2 on the season, which is a pretty good record considering some of the schools we faced. But we want to see him at that 195 because he's 6'1", 208 pounds today. Wrestling 220, he's a small 220. Most of those guys at 220 walked in at the beginning of the season at 245, and he walked in at 213. So we need to get him to a closer matchup than wrestling kids that are 30 pounds heavier than him.
It's interesting.
So.
Sure is. Well, we'll talk more with Justin Leising. He is the assistant wrestling coach at CHS. Right now we want to review what's coming up at CHS this week. The girls basketball, Lady Spartans, will be home to Union County on Wednesday. They'll go to Greensburg on Saturday for afternoon games. Sam, I know you'll appreciate that.
We'll be there for that.
Spartan boys play.
The boys play Saturday night. So
right.
I'll be gone all day, but that's okay.
And the boys, they'll be at Rushville Friday night and at Shelbyville on Saturday night. Freshman basketball team meets South Dearborn here on Thursday, and they'll be going to Shelbyville Saturday too. So there'll be 3 Spartan basketball teams in action at Shelbyville come Saturday night.
I'm glad we got Shelbyville back on the schedule. You remember several years ago, I'm sure, Fran, back when we were in the South Central Conference, and Shelbyville was usually, I think, the last conference game of the season, and for many years in the 80s, in the late 70s and early 80s, it came down to conference championship was decided at that game. Right. And there would be packed houses, whether here at Spartan Bowl or over at Bill Garrett Gym.
And the famous New Year's Day tournament we used to have with Greensburg, Shelbyville, Rushville, and the Spartans.
That was always a good one too.
That was.
And rotated from Connorsville to Shelbyville to Greensburg, but don't think Rushville ever hosted that. They didn't have. They may have early on, but
the largest.
It was the largest
really
gyms,
a large facility. So, but Shelbyville. I'm like you. I was really happy when they returned to the schedule. Wrestling, as Justin said, at Milan on Wednesday. Swimming and diving will be at Centerville today, and they'll be home to Rushville and Batesville in a meet on Tuesday, and they'll be home to Hagerstown on Thursday. So the swimming and diving guys and gals will be kind of busy. The Lady Spartans, Sam, by the way, are 2-5. Union County is 1-6. Greensburg is 6-1. Their only loss was to East Central, and it's like the Lady Trojans of East Central will cap the contest.
Well, they very well may. Hopefully, Lady Spartans can continue to improve and dampen that a little bit and see what happens. Lady Spartans, we have seen some improvement with them, and of course they had their first conference game last week against Batesville, and came up short, but we're right in that game. So I think that Wednesday night at Union County, or Union County here at the Bowl with the Lady Spartans, certainly a winnable game for them. Going to Greensburg on Saturday will be a tall task.
Yes, it'll be a tough game.
But Coach Thompson will have his girls ready.
I'm sure they'll be prepared and ready to go. The boys, Spartans, of course, are 1-0, winning their game against Union County in the opener last week. Rushville, who we meet on Friday, is 0-1. They lost to Shelbyville. Shelbyville is 2-0 in addition to beating Rushville. They also have a win over Triton Central, and they'll be in action Friday night while the Spartans are at Rushville. Shelbyville will be at Columbus North. So
So they're
both teams
opening
will
up
be
pretty
tired.
tough, yes. But the one Friday night for the boys, particularly important first
Yes,
conference game.
Absolutely.
And very important to go over and take care of business at Memorial Gym.
They'll be tough games. I mean, Rushville,
Oh, they will.
Shelbyville at home on their home court. They'll the Spartans will have to be at the
yeah.
top of the game, like they were in their opener against Union County. Justin, were you lucky enough to be at the bowl?
I got to stop in for a little bit. I didn't get to stay very long, but I did get to stop in and watch the beginning of the varsity game, and then had to step out. We're up and moving early Saturday morning, so
Sure.
I need to get home and get some sleep. So
Spartans had a big win over Union County in the opener, and we have some highlights from the game, and we'll look at those right now. Spartans and Union County at Spartan Bowl. Sam, it was quite a ball game, and the Spartans quickly took Union County crowd out of the game.
They certainly did, and Union County has always brought a tremendous crowd, and the bowl was nearly full. But as you said, Spartans really took it to them early. I think one point early in the game we had a 17-1 lead.
It was, yes. They had 4 points at the end of the first quarter. Union County, the Spartan defense was just almost unbelievable. I mean, and the threes that were dropping.
Shot a very high percentage from beyond the arc, and
Yes.
you know, Grant Smith doing a great job out from three-point range, and you know, we think of him as an inside player a lot, but he was bringing the ball up and doing it all that night. But he had a lot of good help as well.
I think he only had 27 points.
Yeah, in 3 quarters.
Yeah, that's the final score. There's final score 63-29, and I know Mark Detweiler couldn't believe what he saw from his team, but they'll win some ball games.
Oh, I think they will. They're well coached, and
Yes.
he has some nice players. Spartans just outdid them that night.
Was.
It
I
was
mean, it
just
was
one of those things. It's
just that
too
night.
bad we don't have the opportunity to play each other again in the sectional like we used to.
That's
because
right.
That was, you know, many years we'd open up with them and we would close with them, and no more. But
No, Class 2A and Class 4A, and
yep, just don't get to face each other in the postseason.
but it was quite an exciting night, and I know the fans, Spartan fans, who went home happy, and that. By the way, that game will be on TV3 Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights this week at 8 o'clock. If you'd like to watch it, and if you were at the game and relive it, if you weren't at the game while and listening to Sam, you'll have a chance to see it. So
Hear you and Ron
yeah,
call the game, and
it was quite a night. Quite a night. Justin, back to you and wrestling. I brought your schedule here. You guys don't wrestle at home very much, do you?
no, we kind of like the tournaments. In the tournaments, we can get the kids 5 matches a day.
Okay.
You know, when we wrestle at home, we don't. You know, the classics are a big tournament. There's a lot of places that, you know, put on tournaments like the one this past weekend at Union County and the one before that at Newcastle. So, you know, you get a chance to wrestle 3 to 4 times that day. And, you know, like this weekend here, we wrestled 5, and they get more mat time at tournaments than we do at dual meets, because dual meets they get 1 match and we go home. Like, you know, Wednesday night at Milan, most of the kids will get the 1 match, and we'll get back on the bus and head back home. So they're not getting, you know, very good looks at competition. They're not getting a whole lot of mat time. So, you know, our big focus right now is get through Milan, and then we'll worry about everything else after that. And, you know, we wish we was home some more, but it doesn't work that way. So,
you know, in many sports, talk about the home field advantage, the home court advantage. Is it that way in wrestling too, the home mat advantage, or
no,
as much?
that comes out of it, because I mean, you know, most of our wrestling fans travel very well. It's, you know, the same group of people at every meet, whether we're going to Madison or we're going to, you know, Newcastle for semi-state or Conseco for state championship. It's the same group of people that come. So, you know, you can really, and it's the same way with every team that we face. You know, you go to Franklin County for sectionals and you'll have people from all over the place there to watch. I mean, the place will be full. And you can really take the home field advantage out of it. That's one thing with basketball and football. You know, you got the big group for the home team. Well, with us, it's kind of, we got about the same number of people for us as everybody else has in the gym. So you can really take that out of it.
When you have young men out wrestling, how involved as a coach are you able to get close to them and talk to them, or they just have to? Are they on their own?
They're about 90% on their own. Me and Mac and the other coaches will be yelling what we see, what they're doing, what the other guys doing. We'll coach them as much as we can, and you know the kids are listening as best they can and trying to implement it. But you know, wrestling is real on that spot, on that second decision. You know, there's really not a whole lot we can change from time to time. I can't call in a play. I can't say, you know, this is what you're going to do from the whole match. I can, you know, okay, this guy here, he leaves his lead foot out, go for an ankle pick as soon as the whistle blows. After that point, it's all on him. I can yell and scream and say, you know, half, Nelson, 3/4, whatever, and it's all on the kid. If the move's there, he'll hit it. If it's not, he goes to the next one.
And it's split second.
Split second. I mean, and it's a human chess match. You got to think 3 moves ahead. You know, yeah, I got the guy. You know, I'm gonna get the guy down. I'm gonna put him on his belly. I'm gonna put him in a half Nelson. I'm gonna turn him over. You know, you get him down, get him on his belly. You go for a half, and it don't work. Okay, well let's try the next thing. You know, and we got, like I said, we got a smart group of kids, and they really work hard. And they listen real well, and, you know, we'll see how the season goes.
Good.
You wrestle at home, do you use the high school gym?
Yeah, for all of our meets at home that are dual meets, which we only have the 2 this year, those will be, the 1. Yeah, the 1. Newcastle. Well, 2. South Dearborn and Hagerstown will both be out the high school.
That's what I thought. And the bowl has
Bowl's
a classic.
just for classic. Yeah.
And was it 3 going on at the same time?
4.
4, okay. Yeah,
We'll have 4 mats going at once.
that's quite a...
We may have a wrestler going on each mat. It gets kind of hectic for us.
Hectic for the coaches, I'm sure.
Yeah, I would think so.
Eyes
Sam,
in the back of your head.
we want to, Justin, leave again. Sam, you want to talk about that coming up at Newcastle on January the 7th, and tickets are available now, I believe.
Oh yes, and a big day of basketball at Chrysler Fieldhouse in Newcastle. Tickets for the Indiana-Kentucky Challenge Cup are available, and it will be held at Newcastle High School on January the 7th. You can go to athletic office and get the tickets. Price of the ticket for the entire day is $10, which is a bargain for 5 games. The schedule, and it's Indiana versus Kentucky. And this will be a good one to start off with. 11 a.m. The only girls game of the day would be Greenfield Central, a team that we play regular season and face in the sectional at times, against Mason County. At 1 o'clock, West Washington of Indiana takes on Bardstown, Kentucky. At 3 o'clock, the boys, and this also boys, Cloverdale takes on Franklin County, Kentucky. And at 5, Oak Hill takes on Wagoner. And then at 7, the nightcap, our own Connersville Spartans will be playing Louisville Ballard. And Louisville Ballard is one of those teams that you hear about in the news from time to time, that one of the top teams in the state of Kentucky.
Yes.
So, ought to be a great day of basketball. I know a young lady that goes to Franklin County High School in Kentucky and plays for them. I was hoping that some of the girls, their girls team would be up here for that, and I would love to get to see her play. Been friends with her family for years, and they went all the way last year to the state finals. So Franklin County, Kentucky has some pretty good basketball going on down there. But just a great day of basketball at Chrysler Fieldhouse, and plenty of room. Ought to be plenty of seats available, but you want to get your ticket in advance, stop out and see them at the athletic office, and just $10 for the whole day.
And I think they'll be on sale too at our home games until then at the ticket window at the Bowl.
Of course, if you can't be there, Dave Pollard and I will have all the action on that Connersville-Louisville Ballard game. We'll be on the air probably 6:45 to 7 o'clock. It's just going to depend on how all those, it could be much later than that depending on how they go, but you can find us at KMX 106.9.
So, I think the Spartans are looking forward to that. And
I think so.
It was quite an honor to be invited, according to Brent Duncan. He said that he was real pleased, and he thought the fan following of the Spartans was a big contributor in the decision made by the people to have what schools to come.
I'm sure we travel very well, and if you look at last year at the sectional, that championship game against Newcastle, we had half of Chrysler Fieldhouse, and they did too. So somewhere around 4,500 for each school. So they know we can help fill Chrysler Fieldhouse.
Well,
and make some money.
It should be quite a day, and hope the Spartans the best of luck in that game.
Absolutely.
Justin, you have a junior varsity. All these young guys, are they all ninth graders, and you have an invitational coming up? Tell us a little bit about that for the JV team.
JV team, we actually only have 5 kids on the JV team, and we're kind of bunched up there, about 152 to 170. So, yeah, we're kind of short on numbers. There's not a whole lot we can really do with that until next year. But, most of these kids, not all of them are freshmen. Most of our freshmen are actually varsity wrestlers.
Okay.
So, this is a lot of first-year juniors, and there's a first-year senior on there that's wrestling really well for us. He wrestled this weekend as a pickup match at Union County and won. He picked up a couple at Newcastle and done very well up there with those. Boy by the name of Jalen Huffman, he's a 152-pounder. It's a good group of kids, and they're working hard, and, we're getting them as much matches as we can.
Sure. I wanted to mention at middle school today, Monday, the boys' red basketball team is playing at Batesville, and it goes to Morristown on Tuesday and to Hagerstown on Thursday, so those guys are busy this week. And the boys' white basketball team plays at Seton Catholic on Tuesday, and they'll be home to Mount Carmel on Thursday. Tryouts for the girls' basketball team at the middle school begin next Monday. Their season will begin on early in January, and as we mentioned earlier, the wrestling team at middle school also will be getting underway after the first of the year. Justin, it's been a pleasure to have you here with us tonight.
It's been a pleasure to be here.
And Mac, the best of luck, and all the coaches that help you out that you mentioned. I know you're building a program, and it takes time.
Yeah. We got some real good kids. Dylan Roan's doing real well for us. He's at 8-2. Brady Gosling's doing real well. He's at 6-4, and then Jacob Red, he's doing real well for us at 8-2. So we got some good kids. We got some good talent. It's just going to take a couple of years to get things really moving.
Thanks, Justin. Samuel,
Thanks for
I
having
appreciate
me.
you stopping by. Thanks, everybody, for watching this edition of the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3.